Welcome back to Not Just Photography. Once again, I'm Anton Ing from AntonIngPhotography.com. Today, I would like to show you how to make a magnetic board. As you've seen in one of my earlier videos about calendars organization, I had a large magnetic board on my wall, which I hung. The key to any DIY project is to always find materials that are not suited for its purpose. When you look in the hardware store, you will need to go to the aisles that have items that will work for your project, but it's not intended for your project. When I was making this magnetic board or getting items ready for this magnetic board, I went to the area where they sell sheets of stainless steel or sheets of thin sheet metal. When I went to that area, I realized how much the sheet metal costs. So I said there has to be a more alternative way. So I scoured the entire hardware store and ended up going to the heating and cooling section. So what you need to do is go to the heating and cooling section, the area where you have air ducts, stainless steel panels, air ducts for your furnace, that area. So once you get to that area, you will need to find long, flat sheets of stainless steel, similar to this. So this is just an example of the stainless steel. You need to find a similar material like this, but in long, flat sheets. So first thing you need to do, you need to decide how big your magnetic board's going to be. So a cheap way to make a magnetic board is to use MDF or a thin piece of wood. MDF is really just sawdust wood chips all glued together and compressed into a sheet. So let me show you an example of something you might use to make your magnetic whiteboard. So this will be an example of something that you would use to make your magnetic whiteboard. So later on I'm gonna cut to a video and show you how this is done. Okay? If you were to buy a magnetic whiteboard, which I'll demonstrate on the computer to show you ads that magnetic whiteboards, large ones, start at $100 for the board. Okay, so why would you pay $100 or $150 for a magnetic whiteboard when you can make one yourself? So now I'm going to show you how much a magnetic whiteboard costs, and I'll show you diagrams on how to make it. The first thing you need to do is find the material that you're going to hang on your wall, which is something like this. So first what you need to do is you need to cut your piece of wood or your MDF to the size that you need. And then you need to get your sheets of stainless steel from the heating and cooling section. And if there is an area where the stainless steel actually folds over, you will need to cut that folded piece off until you get one flat piece of stainless steel. And then what you need to do is you will need to use construction glue, which comes in the tubes, and you'll also need a caulking gun. The best solution to glue your sheet metal down to your MDF is to use construction glue. And then the construction glue will be glued down to the MDF, and you will need to have heavy objects weigh it down for an entire one day. So for the construction glue to dry and to stick onto your piece of wood, you need to leave it there for one whole day. So let me guide you through the process, cut to a diagram and guide you to the process on how to make this. So once you got your piece of MDF or wood to size, what you need to do is you need to put a bead of glue all around the entire piece of wood. A piece of glue all around the entire piece of wood. After you put the glue all around the entire piece of wood. Then you need to make long glue strides along the piece of wood about an inch apart. So long glue strides about an inch apart on the piece of wood. After that is all done, you need to make sure your sheet metal lines up with the board, and then you need to place it down gently, and then you need to push down until it's flattened. After it's flattened, what you need to do is you need to put heavy objects on the stainless steel to weigh it down on the floor on your table. What I'm using is dumbbells from exercising, or if you have bricks, it must be something heavy that will weigh it down. So after you flatten down the stainless steel, smoothing it out, you need to put heavy objects on top to weigh it down. If the objects are not heavy enough, the glue will not flatten and the stainless steel will bubble and warp and it will not stick. Leave that slaying down on the floor on your table for at least one whole day. Okay? And another step, before you glue your stainless steel down to your MDF or your sheet of plywood or whatever you need to use, you need to clean the stainless steel first. Clean both sides of the stainless steel with water and a little soap and let it dry. And also clean your particle board or clean your plywood with a little water until it dries to make sure there's no dirt on it. So you need a clean surface for it to stick. So after you finish doing your whiteboard, if you wish to hang it on the wall, if you have a thin piece of MDF like mine, like this one, you will have to put some type of wood in the back here to make it thicker, so you can actually put hooks here to hang it. If you have a thicker piece of MDF, you always need to drill pilot holes. So drill pilot holes first, and then depends on the size of your whiteboard. For this one, you would probably just have 3 picture hooks over here, and this will hang on the wall. So remember, if you have a thin piece of wood, you will need some type of backing, a thicker piece of wood glued to the back and screwed to the back, so you can put your hanging hooks or which type of hanging loops in the back. What I will do is I will cut to a video and show you a smaller version that I have made. Okay, so let's cut to a video. Now here's a copy of a magnetic board I made earlier. The first version of my magnetic board. As you can see, it's quite long and it's quite wide. And let's take a closer look at the magnetic board. As you can see, there's a thin layer of MDF here, and then, as you can see, the sheet metal is glued on to the MDF in the back. Here's the MDF. And what I had to do was I had to add a piece of wood here and nail this to the wood and nail this to the stainless steel in order to put these fasteners. So let's take a closer look. You will see here this is the MDF, and in between here, which you can't see, is the stainless steel. And in order for you to fasten this to hang on the wall to the MDF, you will need to put an extra piece of wood here to screw in. So once the MDF is glued to the sheet metal in between here, and then you put the trim here, and then this screw will screw into the wood. You make sure you glue this all together. Now let's talk about your fasteners right here. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3. Depending on how big your board is, how many fasteners you will need. But my board is quite heavy, so I chose to put 3 fasteners here to hang on the wall. The important thing about fasteners is you must, if you can, you should find the stud of the wall and fasten the screw or the hook into the stud. But since these fasteners, this whiteboard, is not the width of the studs, which is on the 16-inch centers, the studs, you will need to use wall anchors. So here is a anchor I have taken off the wall. So this is a wall anchor. This is something that you will need to use. This is the wall anchor right here, and this will screw into the anchor. So this part here, you can see here, screws into the wall, and then you would screw the hook in there, and this would actually hang like so. Okay, so this part would be screwed into the wall, your drywall. This part will be screwed in your drywall, and then this will be screwed into this section, the anchor, and this will hook on to the wall. It's very important that you actually use fasteners to fasten it to the wall. If you use something like the 3M hooks to anchor to the wall, it will not hold, and over time the 3M hooks tapes will come loose and it will fall on the floor. So I hope this video on making a magnetic board will help you organize your schedule, or will help you pin photos on your wall, or you can use your magnetic board for other purposes. Once again, thank you for watching Not Just Photography. I hope this video inspires you to take more pictures, record more video, and go out there and just work on something and make something. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like.